What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Craig and this is Outdoors with Craig DZ. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Today I'm going to be going over some moisture meters for firewood. So I already had one, but I went out and purchased a few other ones. Today we're going to compare. I brought up a couple pieces from the yard of cut and split wood. So it's actually sitting outside in the cold, but we're going to go through different makes, models, and see how they compare. Can go over prices, what I paid on them, and see if one is actually better than the other. And two, for testing, because somebody made a comment too, which I'd be curious to see as well, because I haven't really messed around with them too much, is if it's cold out, obviously if it's below zero and it's frozen, does it affect the moisture content reading? I would think it does, but I guess we'll find out. So the first, we'll do some readings on the first two pieces. They're going to be outside in the cold first, frozen, and then I'll bring them in. I'll let them thaw out for a couple hours, and then we'll test them again and see kind of how the the meters compare, the readings, if they're the same or if they're different. All right, so here are the moisture meters that I've purchased. This one, Tavool. This was one that I had purchased originally. I had this for my own self use for my wood business. But there's multiple different vendors. I believe the one I actually purchased, most of my stuff I purchased from Amazon. It's just convenient to me. But this tool itself, I think, might have been either the recommended or one of the best sellers for moisture meters on Amazon. I mean, you got your popular brand, you got Steel there, makes one, and then just some other brands. One of these, I think it's this one here, this Proster. This one might have been the cheapest. It was like maybe 14 bucks, something like that. So again, not going to really go over all the features, differences between these. This is just going to be more of a test in a controlled environment. All right, guys. Again here, just before I get to the testing, I was unboxing all of these, kind of give you a shot of what we have. Did notice, you can see the pile of batteries here. Two of them that did ship with batteries. Both of these batteries are completely dead, so I don't know, have they just been sitting in the warehouse too long in the... I mean, these are some battery brand I've never heard of, but this Duracell, I don't know, must be old, but they're dead. The other thing I did notice, because I looked through some of the manuals real quick, if you notice, these two are the same exact meter, just kind of different branded. This one, I think, I'll have to look at the pricing. I'll put it in the description below, but I want to say this was the more expensive one, and this was like 40 or 50 bucks, and this one was like 14, and it's literally the same exact meter. So that just shows you how well I got screwed on that one. This video is brought to you by Priority Mail. Do you need free boxes? So here, guys, here is the wood. I just brought it in. You can kind of still see still a little bit of snow. This stuff was frozen pretty good in the ground, so I'm going to try and get some readings fairly quick before it has time to really melt. All right, so the first one we'll use here be your Tav tool. And if anybody hasn't seen one of these meters, I'll just kind of show it. So you just power it on. This one has kind of a backlighting. Mine actually tells you the temperature, so I'm downstairs in kind of my basement area, so it's 67.2 down here. And then, yeah, it kind of shows you min-max, where this meter, again, is showing 0 to 40%. So anything higher than 40 probably isn't going to show. So this thing, we're not going to do bark side, so jammer right in there. 23%. On log 1, log 2, 23.6. All right, here's the general meter. This one just shows percentage, and it's set to wood mode, so same thing. Jam that guy in. All right, so you can hear an audible tone. it's saying high, and it's 30%. Which already you can kind of see the discrepancy. I mean, that's 25, so I guess maybe depends where it goes. So stick number 2, 24.8. Here is the gray meter. I'm going to put it on the mode C, which is ash, and these are kind of twinsies with the other meter. So this will be a good test too, because they're identical meters, just different manufacturers, brand names on them. So we'll stick that guy in. 36.3. All right, and number 2. 37.5. One notable difference quick that I will point out is the prongs, if they'll focus. So the prongs on this guy are a lot bigger than the previous 2. So I'm not sure, again, from a testing standpoint, if it's allowing us to go deeper into the wood, which is getting the lower reading. So here's the Twinsy. Mode C, which is supposedly for ash, and we'll give it another stick here. 36.2, which is, you know, at least compared to the 2, I mean, that's 0.1 off. That's the closest they've been so far. We'll stick it in number 2 here. 38.3. Okay, you might be thinking the same thing that I am right now is, you know, from what I've heard from everyone, ash is supposedly, you know, you cut it and basically you can burn it, but I mean, these last third and fourth readings are almost 40% moisture content. Wouldn't really be anything I'd want to burn. So for the last one, we have name brand steel. I actually like this. I will see how it performs, but it's small, it's compact. The top kind of sticks with it, so you don't have to worry about losing it. But this could be something I could see you bring out with you. Keep it in your, if you have a little tool bag that you bring with you when you're cutting, and you kind of get moisture contents as you're cutting. So let's see. I'm gonna kind of get in the way of me here. Poking. OL. Yeah, so anything over 40% becomes OL, which I'm guessing is like off the chart, over the limit. So that one is OL. The other thing too is, as this wood is kind of thawing out, you know, obviously there's moisture on it that's, yeah, OL again, so, which, as I said, that means it's reading over 40, and just, you know, just for another test, here's the first meter we started with. Nah, still, I mean, this one's reading 23, 21 surface, so I'm just checking again real quick with some of these, because my only thought was that maybe as the snow is melting on it and it's kind of thawing as we've been testing real quick down here, that the moisture content on the surface is obviously going to go up quite a bit. Like I can kind of already see, like over here is, yeah, water spots. So we're up to 49, almost 50% concentration right here on this piece with this reader, just because, like I said, I think the moisture is starting to pour out from being frozen. was the orange one. So yeah, I mean, readings. Again, the harder to push, they're about the same. This got 36 its first reading. That was, now it's 42. So again, kind of depends where you stick it, but it definitely seems like the readings may have actually come up a little bit. So let's spin this. All right, guys, so we're gonna let that kind of dry out for a little bit. As I said, I'm gonna give it probably at least a couple hours, might even more, depending on how damp it looks when I come back down here in a couple hours. If it still looks like it's got some actual moisture on the outside of it, we'll probably wait a little bit longer. So first observation, obviously a pretty wide gap in numbers from, you know, the lowest reading that we have so far was 23%, and up to, you know, over the limit, which was 40% plus. So to me, that's a pretty wide range right now. But again, as I stated, as this snow is kind of melting, you know, it's unfreezing itself. The moisture's kind of on the surface is escaping, and I think that's why the levels are going up. So we'll confirm that or not once we let this dry. All right, guys, let me unplug the fan here. Welcome back, YouTube. Just unplug the fan. So these blocks of wood here, almost complete. Well, the edges we are testing are completely dry. You can see there's a little moisture on the cardboard still, but overall I think we'll be good to test now. There's really no condensation or any type of liquid on the wood floor here. That it's in my basement. The temperature, it says it's about 60 degrees, probably from the concrete, but let's give it a test here. All right, 32 point, I mean, it's dropping. 32.0 now. Let's, 35.7 is the first reading. Well, 24.9. I don't know why that first reading was so high. 25.1. So I'm gonna 25. Yeah, 25.7. All right, back to the general reader again. All right. 23.5. 24.1. Back to the gray one here. We'll change it to mode C, which is supposed to be for ash. 14.2. Alright. 29.4. All right, the twin brother here, mode C. 47.8. 36.6. Steel one. 18%. And actually there, I think as the prongs kind of pull out, if you've watched some of the other videos of people using these, you know, the harder they press, the higher the reading it seems, because the prongs are going in deeper, but you'll drop to about 15. Turn this thing back on. 23. The only thing I can say based off of the evidence here is there at least shows a clear pattern that trying to measure either wet or frozen wood is probably not going to benefit you as far as your readings. The readings in the first set of the frozen, you know, snow-covered wood that was starting to melt, all are significantly or slightly higher. And the first readings are higher than the second ones for pretty much all of them. There's a few cases you can see in the spreadsheet that it's not, but just playing around. So there's 10, right? I'm getting a 10 reading. But if I jam it in, you know, there's 17, 28, 24, 34. This style moisture meter, if that's all you had, then fine, but it seems like out of the 5, those other 3 seem to work pretty good. And I mean, you would think the steel one, just based off of the name and the quality of their chainsaws and other products, that would be pretty good as well. But yeah, following closing remarks, yeah, doesn't seem to be one of those things where you get what you pay for. You know, the numbers are all over the place, you know, from the cheapest one to the most expensive one. There's really doesn't seem to be a pattern where the cheaper one underperformed and the more expensive ones perform better. The readings are all over. I just think there's too many variables in the wood to get a consistent reading. You know, it depends on how deep your prongs are in, the pressure applied when you're doing it. As you saw, I kind of was jamming them into the wood to get them in as far as I could. The first readings for sure, once kind of the snow was melting, any ice that was on it was melting, you could definitely see you don't want to measure it wet. That definitely affects the readings. I mean, it's clear, the data shows that. That's about the only clear thing I can say out of this test, is that, you know, if the log is wet already, your numbers are going to be off, way off. But that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the content today. If you have any other questions, post them in the comments below. If you have any, I mean, I have these 5 readers now that I purchased, so if maybe when you watch it, you said, hey, you should have done this, maybe, again, not now, but as that wood seasons that I have out there, can do another crack at it and maybe do some, you know, kind of a round 2 of separate tests, different tests, but I'll definitely hold on to them for a while. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join the Outdoors with Craig DZ team, get up to date on new content like this video today, and I guess hopefully the next, if weather permitting, then, you know, next week or 2 I can do the video that I've been promising you guys of the woodlot. But in the meantime, everybody be safe out there. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody about the Outdoors with Craig DZ channel, and I will see you again next time.